Welcome to an informal Q&A about free motion quilting for you who are a beginner and want to learn how to do it on your sewing machine. So today we brought the questions that sum up the most common questions that we got and that we see all over the internet and our in-person workshops, our classes here on YouTube, our online programs, everywhere. Beginners have quite the same questions. So we are here to pave the way for you through the beautiful golden way to free motion quilting. So let's get started, Natasha.
Yes, because this is the free motion quilting crash course, and we have a link in the description so you can get all classes and the PDFs. So let's go to the questions.
First question.
So Mary said, I try free motion on my domestic. No amount of practice and entire quilt as you go queen size made me better at it. I just don't have the skill set. I have no desire to learn on a long arm, so my quilts will be sent out or I will use another quilting technique.
Thank you, Mary, for your question. And this is more like a confession, right? A comment. It's not quite a question, but we wanted to comment it because it's very common for people when they start free motion quilting, if they don't start in a precise, progressive, very thoughtful way, they get exactly what Mary get.
Yeah, because it's so interesting that she said she practiced for a whole queen size quilt. This is really big.
Yeah.
It's a lot of quilting, a lot of hours, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and no results because practice is not the
solution.
The answer is not the answer.
It's not the way.
Exactly. Because if you practice the wrong thing, you won't get better at what you want to be better at, right?
It's just like a baby. We cannot say to a baby, if you try to run a marathon and you practice, you will get there. Because if the baby doesn't even know how to walk or sit, it doesn't matter the amount of practice that the baby gets, it will not run a marathon. So this is what happened with quilting. Oftentimes, free motion quilting is a skill that it's easy. You can start to have beautiful quilting in just a day, but you have to learn it from a resourceful source, because if you just go to the internet, they will say, oh, just do some easy beginner meanders, and that is the marathon of free motion quilting for toddlers. The problem, Mary, it's not you. It's not that you don't have what it takes to do free motion quilting, and the problem is also not the amount of practice that you are doing, because we can see that you are doing a lot. The problem is if you don't practice the correct level for your beginner skill, you will not see improvement because you already started skipping steps. So you are missing the foundation of free motion quilting, which is quite simple.
Oh, let me just remind you that the whole free motion quilting crash course were actually created based on questions we have asked to people on, all over groups on internet, and we gather those questions, and of course difficulties, and we arranged them in a way that makes sense in a neuroscience level for you to teach your brain and then your body. It's not the other way around. So
awesome.
Just for you to remember, go to the other classes.
A complete free course for you.
Yes.
Okay.
The other question from Audrey is, the cost of equipment keeps me from free motion quilting. And then Melissa answered, me too. Don't have a machine that can do it and can't afford one. Also, I don't have space for another machine in my home at the moment.
I loved this because this is actually so confusing for beginners that a lot of beginners don't know the difference between long arm quilting, free motion quilting, and meanders. It's kind of whole one entity, but it's not. So we've explained the difference between free motion quilting, long arming, and what is what. So here we're gonna address the problem. I don't have the equipment. I don't have the space. So if you have a sewing machine that do straight stitches, you can do free motion quilting. You don't need a lot of throat space on your machine to be able to do free motion quilting and to finish your big quilts on it. You don't need that throat, but you have to know how to deal with the small throat of your machine so you don't get the instructions that people give to larger throats, and then you cannot apply because your sewing machine doesn't have that space. If you don't have a big machine, a big space, it really doesn't matter for free motion quilting. What matters is that you know how to arrange your space, you know how to maneuver your quilting, you know how to take the features of your machine and make them work for you once you are doing free motion quilting.
Yeah, because you are the goddess of your quiltdom. That means that the machine serves you. If you have the right strategy, you can quilt the size of quilt you want on any machine and it will be beautiful, but you have to have the right strategy. Wow, this is really formal video today, right?
It was kind of a rap in my mind. Yeah. So because it's too powerful, you know, this is too powerful. Like you don't need a lot of fancy stuff to do free motion quilting. What you need is to know the specifics of your machine, the specifics of the best free motion quilting for your setup, so you can do the free motion quilting that will look amazing, that will be easy, and that can be done on your machine. Because when we are quilting on a domestic sewing machine, we are not quilting a space that is the size of the throat. We are always just quilting near our hand, and there's a lot of ways we can maneuver the quilt and position our body towards the machine and even the machine towards the table, so we have more comfort when we are quilting and we don't even remember that the throw is so small. So don't let that keep you.
In fact, we have a lot of students right here in Brazil that we taught, and they learned the scramble technique, for example, and other things with us, and they are professional quilters on a small machine. They don't have a long arm, they don't have a framed machine, none of that, and they quilt king size quilts for customers
for profit
for years now. So
don't let I'm not having the setup, the machine, the fancy stuff keep you from the fun of free motion quilting. Natasha even rapped about it. Okay.
You rapped about it.
Next one.
Meg said, what stops me is my lack of hand-eye coordination. Free motion quilting goes too fast for me to keep up. I can't keep track of where I need to go next.
Let's comment step by step because it's just giant.
And this is amazing.
Meg, I loved your comment.
Yes, because free motion quilting being too fast is very common, and unfortunately we see a lot of people praising that you should run a little bit faster because your quilting will be smoother that way, and this is simply not true. Because imagine when you're walking, you have your own pace that is comfortable for you, and if you're on that pace, you could walk miles without
you have balance.
Exactly.
You can look around, you can see if people
fall.
You can see if people are going towards you, you can watch the street before you cross the street. So there's a lot of things you can do if you're just walking calmly at your own pace. If you're running, it's another story. Running with free motion quilting is kind of the worst thing you can do, because on free motion quilting, what we want is to, one, give our body the comfort, so our body shows us what is comfort to it. So it's kind of an entangled situation. We want to give comfort to our body, so our body can give us the information telling us what is comfortable for our body, and then we can have those both factors influencing our free motion quilting at the end. And that really sounds super complicated, but it's not. It's just a different way to sit on your machine and a different place to put your attention. Because if you're thinking, oh, I have to go fast, I don't know where to move, I don't know where to turn, I cannot take any corners, I cannot create any points, I am running, you don't have the mental space. Your brain cannot focus on what matters, which is, how do I have to move to create that beautiful design? How is my body comfortable on moving to a certain movement and to a certain direction and within a certain area of the quilt in this machine? So if you're focusing on getting fast, you cannot learn free motion quilting. And that's why the meander alarm, it's always on, because if you're trying to learn free motion quilting with meanders or loops that are just go, fast, you will not be able to actually learn what you need in your body to be comfortable to do free motion quilting.
Yeah, and then free motion quilting will turn into a anxiety trigger for you, for your brain, because you're putting your brain in that state when you have to run, and you can breathe, and you can stop, and you can nothing. You cannot do anything, because this is just how meanders and other designs goes for beginners. Once you have learned what you must learn as a beginner, then you can meander
easily,
without a sweat. But as a beginner, there are some things you shouldn't do, and one of them is start with meanders.
Or running. Okay, let's move on from Meg's comment.
Meg also said, and I hate practicing. Good results take so long and so many practice pieces to achieve. I think the amateur childish scribbles I can make are just horrible to look at, and I don't want them on my carefully pieced quilts.
So Meg, this is really important, because when you're learning free motion, I'm gonna say when you're trying to learn free motion quilting from the design to your body, that actually can take years for you to be able to do beautiful designs. But if you are learning from brain to body and then managing that connection and get them to add up and give you a result that will be the visible free motion quilted stuff that you have, then you can actually have beautiful quilting in hours, because when you are able to do that, you can locate in your body what is comfortable, and comfort equals beauty in free motion quilting. So the more relaxed and in tune with works with your body you are, the more beautiful your design will be. And that is a total game changer in free motion quilting, because no one talks about that until today. Until you see this video, you were learning free motion quilting in a wrong way. You were looking at a design and then you were trying to do that design. So people say, oh, I'm gonna trace my design so I can follow the line. That can be an instant win. That can feel like, oh, I'm getting better, but you are actually getting further away than understanding how your body wants to move and how your body is comfortable, because you are trying to give the information from the design to your body. You're saying, body, do that, instead of saying, what can you do, body? And your body say, we can do that. And we say, okay, that's beautiful. How can we make a design from this? And then we make a beautiful design from what your body can do and from what your body can actually manage. So we have students that in a simple table runner, they started knowing nothing about free motion quilting, never quilted before, or worse, traumatized. And then at the end of the table runner, they were quilting beautifully. And I say beautifully with capital B, like really, really beautifully, because they were learning how to listen to their bodies and how to use what their bodies already have in terms of consistency, scale, placement, and other skills to create a design from what the body already have. And that is much more clever. And that's why you don't need hours and hours and 1,000 hours. I saw today on Reddit, 1,000 hours to have beautiful free motion quilting. Will it improve this time? Of course, it will improve. But you don't have to ruin lots of quilts just to get there. You can have a beautiful quilting within a space of hours, but for that you have to actually turn the flux in how you learn free motion quilting. It's not design, then brain, then body. It's first brain, then body, and then they exchange information between them, and from that exchanging and from that balance, we create beautiful designs. That's the way you want to go. We keep going on, Mags.
I love the look of well done free motion quilting, but I can achieve it easily, so I don't want to bother with it. Neither the process or my results bring me joy.
And we already know why. You are stressed, you don't like your results, you don't know how to get the results you want, and that can be very frustrating. Yeah. You don't know how to measure if you're getting closer or further from your desired result because you don't have any parameter and you don't know what you're building. You're just trying to look at the design. You just want your design to look like what you saw on Pinterest, and if they don't look like what you saw on Pinterest, then you didn't achieve your goal. So if you have a different approach, if you know what you have to achieve with a certain exercise, if you know what you have to achieve with a certain design, then you can enjoy the process because you will have those small goals that you know how to see and to measure, and that you know how to check to see if you achieve them. So if you know how to set those smaller goals, how to break your final result into smaller steps, and you know how to check them, and you can actually hit those small goals and check them like I've done that, you can follow your progress and you can see the reason and the skill building from brain to body without you having to guess or feel lost in terms of, am I doing this correctly? Am I doing this in a way that I will get to my result? If you have that path laid out with smaller goals and you know the reason they are there, you can enjoy the process because you will know that you will get there because you know you did your first step correctly and you have the solution already.
I think it's important to remember that every motor skill is a process, is a progress. You will not from day to night, never done it and then I'm a professional. What you will have is, I never done it, I'll make step 1 and I'll be good at it. Then I'll do step 2 and I'll be good at it. And then you go. But the thing is, if you're learning free motion in the new way, with neuroscience-based way, from brain to body, then the step 1 is already beautiful. Yeah. You already can quilt your quilts with step 1 and be proud of that. So that is the real, revolution of free motion actually, because you don't have to wait until you reach, let's say, step 10, and then you can say, oh, now I finally can quilt something of value. No, from step 1 you already can. The thing is, which is the step 1 that is correct for you to, as a beginner, go there and then achieve that skill and be proud of your beautiful quilt.
Check the complete free course free motion quilting crash course, and you will have the first step already laid out for you.
And then let's go with Meg again.
Woohoo, Meg!
Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe it's laziness. I'm not sure. I'm more of an instant gratification kind of person, which I can get with walking foot quilting.
I loved this ending.
Yes.
Because these just show us how our brain tells stories according to what we believe, and then we believe those stories more, and our brain gets more into those stories, and that's a complete cycle. Walking foot quilting, it's not easier than free motion quilting. It's just different. It's not easy for people to do a smooth walking foot quilting, having to feed the machine the whole quilt at once several times. It's not easy for people to feed the quilt to the machine and not get puckers and wrinkles. It's not easy for people to stay right with your line, even if you're using all sorts of techniques like tapes and the guide of the foot and creasing or tracing your quilt. So walking foot is just as easy as free motion quilting. The thing is, people say that walking foot is easier than free motion quilting so much that once people try free motion quilting, they already are settled that it will not succeed, it will not be easy, their machine cannot do it, they cannot adjust tension, they cannot even touch the controls of the machine doesn't have any features, or even the foot you cannot install. So there's a lot going on before you even tried free motion quilting. So if you're an instant gratification person, this is just the brain. It's not a type of person.
It's just
everyone,
being human.
Everyone is like that. So what actually we created with our way to do free motion quilting and to teach free motion quilting is instant gratification, because we deserve it. We are learning a new skill, and learning a new skill can feel very intimidating because as adults, we are not used to not be good at things. We are not used to not knowing things, and we are not used to allow mistakes and allow our brain and allow our body to do its thing, so we can take a step back and watch our brain and our body functioning together, and we can say, now I will use this skill and this knowledge to build what I want. So don't let the walking foot quilting keep you from doing free motion quilting. You can do both. You can tie your quilts. There's a lot of other techniques. Hand quilting your quilts. You can do a lot of stuff. But if you want to do free motion quilting, find the perfect way for you to learn free motion quilting so you can get the prize and you can use your creativity on free motion quilting, and you can have the fun that only free motion quilting can give you. And if you want to do walking foot quilting, you are also allowed to do whatever you want. You are the goddamn goddess of your quiltum. But don't let any replacement keep you from the fun of free motion quilting, because it's good for your brain, it's good for your body, it's good for your quilts, it's good for humanity.
If I would sum up the video here today and the most common questions beginners always ask about free motion quilting, I would say I don't have the right machine because my machine is not fancy or big or pricey. And I don't have therefore the right equipment. I don't have enough throat, and I don't have coordination. Quilting is not for me.
It doesn't matter how I try, I will never get it. We've heard that a lot.
A lot. So what happens is, today we talk a little bit about those questions, but if you want to put everything we said into the real life and start to teach your brain, to teach your body to how you must move to do free motion quilting in a beautiful and easier way, then go to the free motion quilting crash course, because all of that is answered. And we are using a home sewing machine. We don't have an extension table, so we just have that little bit, you know, we say that this is dinosaur's hand.
T-Rex.
Not
T-Rex
because
hands.
we'll be in that position, because this
No.
is not ergonomic, but is the feeling, because we don't have
The space is so small, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we are doing that.
So from set up your machine to do designs and practice of free motion quilting that will actually move you forward and build skills, you have everything covered for free in the free motion quilting crash course by Orbital Quilting.
So go there, do everything, and we'll see you on the flip side, the side where you can free motion quilt.